There are 162,000 business owners in this country sitting on a problem they don't know they have. If you own a business, there's a good chance you're one of them. By the end of this, you'll know for certain. And you'll know the single number that decides whether your life's work is worth millions or nothing at all. Because here's the question almost nobody asks themselves in time. Not, how much is my business worth? Can it run without me? Not for a day, not for a week off, for a year. With you nowhere near it, sit with that. Because a buyer will. I help owners build businesses that don't need them in the room. I've sat on both sides of the table, looking at buying businesses and helping owners get theirs ready to sell. And I'll tell you now, most of them are sitting on far less than they think. So in the next 10 minutes, 3 things. Why most businesses that go up for sale never actually sell. The one trait, quietly, that destroys more value than anything else. And a one-page exercise you can do tonight that tells you the truth about your own. Let's start with the part that should worry you. Companies' house data tells a quiet story most people miss. 808,000 UK companies have a director aged 60 or over. 162,000 of those are run by one person, over 60. No co-founder, no successor, no plan. Holding £158 billion in value between them. And here's the number that stops me every time. In a single year, 726,000 UK companies were dissolved. The highest figure on record. Those aren't all failures. A lot of them were good businesses. They just ended. Because when the owner stopped, there was nobody and nothing to carry it. And it's not for lack of wanting out. Research by the wealth manager Charles Stanley found nearly half of UK business owners, 48%, have no exit plan at all. Half of the people whose entire wealth is locked inside one company. So say you decide to sell. You're sensible. You go to market. Here's what the data says happens next. According to the International Business Brokers Association, of all the businesses that go up for sale, only 20 to 30% ever actually close. Read that again. 7 out of 10 don't sell at all. And when a deal collapses, it's usually for one reason. A gap. The gap between what the owner believes it's worth and what a buyer will actually pay. That gap runs 30 to 60%. So the question isn't really what's my multiple. It's why would a buyer pay so much less than I think this is worth? If this is already making you do the maths in your head, subscribe. This whole channel is one idea. Building a business that's worth something without you inside it. Right? The one reason buyers pay less? I once looked at buying a furniture business. Bespoke pieces, handmade, 40 years, built by a husband and wife. Beautiful work? The kind of thing people waited 6 months for. Good revenue, 2 showrooms, a waiting list. On paper, a lovely business. So I sat with them and I started asking simple questions. Who sets the price on a custom piece? She does. In her head, no formula. Who knows which timber merchant will do a rush job as a favor? He does. No list. It's just him. Who do the oldest clients ring? Not the company. Them. By first name, 40 years. And almost none of it was written down anywhere. It lived in 2 people. They couldn't find a buyer. Not one who'd pay what they'd hoped, because there was nothing to actually hand over. So they didn't sell. They closed. The workshop that smelled of sawdust for 40 years went quiet. The tools went for a fraction. The waiting list got a letter. 2 people who'd built something real walked away with almost nothing to show for it. Not because the work wasn't good, it was, but because everything they'd built lived inside them. And you can't put that in a sale. Here's what I had to explain to them. Gently. A buyer isn't buying your furniture. They're buying whether the business keeps making money after you've gone. Those are 2 completely different things. And there's a name for what happens when too much of a business lives in one person. Valuation professionals call it the key person discount. Shannon Pratt, the man who wrote the actual textbook on valuing private companies, Put it at up to 25%. In practice, on a small owner-run business, it's often far worse. 30, 40, 50% gone. Not because the business is bad, because the buyer can't trust it to survive you leaving. That's not a furniture business. That's two talented people with a workshop attached. And you can't buy people. They retire. Now you might be thinking, that's them, not me. So let me make it concrete. Owner dependency isn't a spreadsheet problem. It's a Tuesday night problem. It's the call you take on holiday because only you can make that one decision. It's the quote sitting unsent because it needs your eyes first. You call it being indispensable. Your family calls it, he's on his phone again. And somewhere along the way, you started wearing it like a badge. It feels like being needed. It's actually being trapped. And a buyer can smell it in the first 10 minutes. Now here's the part that's going to sound backwards. The fix isn't working harder or hiring a number two or hoping. It's 3 steps. And they're simpler than you'd think. 1. Take the decisions living in your head and write down the rules you actually use. Not the textbook version. What you really do. 2. Turn those rules into a process someone else can follow and reach the same answer you would. 3. Let a system run that process so it makes the call, keeps the record, and gets sharper over time. Do that and the business stops needing you to function. Which means it can be handed over. In hours, not months. Which means it's worth more, measurably more. And here's the part nobody says out loud. Once it runs without you, you might find you're working less and earning more. At which point you look up and think, well, why would I retire at all? I don't blame you for thinking that. That's not the problem. That's the whole point. Now the objection I always get. Mine's different. It's built on relationships, on trust. You can't systemize that. You're half right. You can't systemize the relationship. You can systemize everything around it. How clients get followed up. How quotes go out. How work gets tracked, delivered, invoiced. Take all of that off your plate and you've got more time for the one thing that does need you. The relationship. Systems don't make your business less human. They give you the room to be more. So here's the one thing to do tonight. Cost nothing. Take a sheet of paper. Write down the 10 decisions only you can make. The ones where, if you vanish tomorrow, nobody else in the building could answer. Don't overthink it. Just 10. That list is the most honest valuation of your business you will ever do. The longer it is, the more the business is just you, and the less anyone will ever pay for it. Shortening that list, one decision at a time, is the work. Remember the number from the start? 162,000 owners sitting on a problem they can't see. Now you can see it. So you're not one of them anymore. Tell me in the comments, of your 10 decisions, which one scared you most to write down? I read them. If this was useful, subscribe. It's how the channel keeps going. Everything I do is at sarangandi.com. And if you want to talk yours through, there's a 30-minute call on there. No pitch, just a conversation. Next time, I'll show you how to take the very first decision off that list and hand it over without the whole thing falling apart. See you in the passenger seat.